The Mercedes Sprinter is one of Germany's most popular delivery vehicles. There's also a 4x4 version with all-wheel drive that was developed to cope with even the trickiest winter conditions, like those found here in the Austrian Alps. The slogan for Mercedes vans is "Born to Run." Let's see whether that still holds true in the snow. Product manager Thomas Bonnet says that the Sprinter's big advantage is that it has a selectable all-wheel drive. That means that you can switch easily from 2x2 mode to 4x4 mode when the street conditions warrant it. And up in the Alps, that's more often than not. A four-wheel drive can accelerate even when two of the four wheels can't find purchase on a slippery surface. The Sprinter 4x4 isn't really an off-road vehicle, but compared to the standard model, its chassis is 11 centimeters higher in front and 8 centimeters higher in the rear. Off pavement, the extra clearance makes a noticeable difference. The 4x4 is able to climb embankments, sharp rises, and other steep inclines more easily than the rear-wheel drive version. We met up with driving instructor Violetta Weikopf. She's going to show us how well the Sprinter 4x4 copes with extreme winter conditions. The first thing she decides to try is to stomp on the gas from a dead stop. Even though we're riding on ice and snow, she says, the Sprinter accelerates well. It's also easy to control. The vehicle doesn't understeer, she says, and sticks to the road well. Violetta says lots of people think that big, heavy vehicles don't handle well, but that's not true here. Even under terrible conditions like the ones today, there's a solid sheet of ice under the fresh fallen snow. The Sprinter is very easy to steer. It copes with the conditions perfectly, she says. The all-wheel delivery vehicle hits its peak torque at low RPMs. The four-cylinder engine comes in two different performance classes. We're testing the more powerful 120 kilowatt variant. Its peak torque of 360 Newton meters is reached at just 1,400 RPMs. Violetta says that the Sprinter gives you confidence. The laws of physics hold true in curves like this one, which is why it's always important to hit the brakes early, enter the curve slowly, and accelerate back out of it. She's happy with how well the Sprinter gets back up to speed. That's the advantage of a 4x4, she says. That's a big plus in safety terms, but doesn't make the four-wheel drive Sprinter a good choice for every driver. Mercedes chose to present the new model in the Alps for a good reason. Thomas Bonnet says the car maker is focusing primarily on commercial customers, for example hotels that need shuttles to bring guests safely over snow-covered roads to their destination. But other customers could be those who work in forestry or on construction sites, people who have to drive on unpaved surfaces. The Sprinter is an all-wheel vehicle that offers more traction in situations like that, he says. Hotel shuttle driver Sven Kohl therefore falls squarely into Mercedes' target group of customers. We invite him to put the four-wheel drive Sprinter through its paces. The explanation for how to use the selectable 4x4 function is explained in just a few seconds. The vehicle is loaded with 5 different assistants, including distance warning and blind spot warning systems, as well as ones for controlling high beams and lane departure. A new feature is the side wind assistant, which keeps the car on track even when the air currents are acting up. Sven says that makes a lot of sense up here in the mountains and improves safety. It means you don't have to put on the chains after every little snowfall, and you can take curves normally without worrying that you're going to go into a skid, he says. The interior of our test car is pretty much standard industrial fare. but there is one eye-catching detail. For a commercial vehicle, the central console looks quite attractive, above and beyond simply functional. Sven says the Sprinter's seat positioning is perfect and the controls are well arranged. Even the four-wheel drive selector is easy to use. It quickly starts to feel more or less exactly the same as the normal version of the Sprinter, he says. Thomas says the new model has a specific application. It's for customers that need more traction. That's a niche market, he says. The car maker only sells a few thousand units per year, but that isn't really all that bad for the segment, he says. Specifically, Mercedes only sold around 2,000 of the 4x4 Sprinters worldwide last year. In Germany, the four-wheel drive version of the workhorse delivery van costs around €8,500, more than the standard Sprinter.